It's been on my mind to do this topic for quite some time, but I was a little hesitant because this is a topic that it was brought to this space to my uncle, by my uncle Rom. Shout out to Rom Wills with the term body game. And shout out to all the fellas who are doing content, stressing the importance of taking their health to the next level, improving on their physique. So I was really kind of hesitant because, like I said, I felt like how much more can I speak on it? But as time went on, my animal said to me, Tris, it's time for you to do it. So here I am. But I'm very appreciative for guys actually taking the step to transforming their physique, especially as you know, as a personal trainer. That's one thing that I definitely try to tell both men and women to improve on their physique because it has a lot to do uh, about about you. You know what I'm saying? Like how you see yourself and how the world see you as well. And one thing you do have control over is your body. I think that's the best vehicle or the best gift that we do have, that we should take take it seriously in how we uh express ourselves, by being in shape. So this is something that I think it's time for me to give my perspective on the body game. This is to benefit not just men but for women as well. Like I said, as a personal trainer, I train both men and women. But of course the guys, we do try to get girls. Part of it is, but I think the motive should be never to attract the opposite sex, but really is to take care of yourself because you want to be independent for the long haul. For the long haul, you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna go over quick benefits and the pros and not the cons, because no cons of really having a good body to a degree. But my perspective on it, you know what I'm saying. So let's go into it right now. I have my notes here because it's a in-depth topic and something I don't take lightly, and I don't think you should either. So when people refer to body game, it really refers to the use of your body with your presence and your non-communication, uh, non-communicate, the way how you use your body to the non-verbal cues that your body gives off to influence others to perceive and respond to you. So it's really like an embodiment. Like you see people. One of the things too in the medical field, one of the things that I've learned was to watch how people gait, how they walk, and we see how you move your body, and that says something about you. It's an expression. So that's one of the ways we can tell if someone is quote unquote healthy, right? With posture and everything like that. So with one, it gives confidence without saying a word. The strong posture, that's very important, like I just mentioned with the gait. It does with your movement, how grounded you are. Posture says a lot. If you slouched over, you're saying that you lack confidence. You know what I mean? With your head down, drooping, you don't want to do that. So, like I said, as a personal trainer, some of the things we do is corrective uh, posture. I was gonna say corrective medicine, but we correct your posture by rolling the shoulders back, being chest up, abs engaged or core tightened, and you really want to watch how you walk because everything's from the ground up, right? Two, it also has a better attraction in social magnetism. We all want to be that person that who presence walks in before, so who presence commands the room. By having body game or practicing body game, it gives that off because it gives a strong physique. And we all want our presence to speak volumes more than our words. One thing I started doing too is watching the Animal Planet. And if you watch like apex predators, they have a calmness to them, but they're present. You know what I'm saying? In their body, they're slow. They know how to attract, and people see them. People, not animals, see them, not people, and they're like, "Oh shit, the lion is coming. We gotta move," or the whale is coming. Whatever that apex predator is, or predator may be, the prey or the lesser was always on the hills. You look, they look antsy. They're moving around, so it definitely has some type of presence that you want to exuberate, or, for lack of better words. Also, when you practice body game, it also shows about emotional control. It's just something different, the way you move your body or you train your body to move a certain kind of way. If you look at, like I always go back to like Kung Fu movies with masters, they have such a calmness to them, no matter how much stress may be on the outside. They look very poised and calm. That's what practicing body game gives you. Because remember, this is just another form of expression. So as you're pushing the weight, or if you're doing calisthenics, you're learning more about yourself. So even when your muscles are burning, you're still going through and you're repping. These are things that showing you how to handle pressure, believe it or not. When that weight is on you and you're trying to come down and you're trying to push it up, all that is giving a psychological response to you to handle the trials and tribulations of life unbeknownst to you, right? Also, it gives you a sense of authority and presence. Like I said, everything's from the ground up, nonverbal cues, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. When you walk into a room, people can sense it. They can feel that type of confidence from you. And remember, we're not too far off from the animal. We're in the animal kingdom, but we're not too far off from animals. The only thing that separates us is really that we have the ability to reason. And we have the world going, a lot of us don't even have that ability. So we're really like beast in human form, but that's another story for another day. But when you really practice body game and you get more confident in what you're doing, it would emanate from within. You see your presence and your authority start to change. Because most of our communication is like, I think say 90, no, 70%, whatever the percentage is over 50% is nonverbal. And practicing body game will give you that type of presence. Because like I said, it goes back to posture. When you start doing the exercises correctly, rolling the shoulders back, you're walking with more confidence, with more authority. And people can pick up on that, which is always a good thing, right? Also, that it's an authentic self expression, because a good body shows that you love yourself. Remember, that's one of the things that's built. That's why I'm against people going overseas, getting their bodies done, whatever the case may be, unless it's not health related. But if you're getting a BBL, and I'm not judging, I think it's best, really, to build your body, because what you miss from that process is the wherewithal and the mental fortitude that comes with it. See, because when you skip that process, you're still the same person. Nothing really changed. And then that's why most people come back and they end up putting on the weight. The surgery flops. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't take the proper steps in order to really build themselves. So it's just not building their body, it's the mental aspect of it that they often lack. It's like giving someone who's financial literate the lotto. 2 years time, they're gonna end up giving the money right back because they haven't changed who they are to get the money to acquire the money to really appreciate the steps in order to maintain it. It's the same thing with your body. All right. Also, improve communication, right? So like I just mentioned, over 60% of communication is nonverbal. Body awareness makes your words land more purposefully. So now you become more intentional. Because as you go through your fitness journey, you're also going to start to learn how to work out, how to program, and you start being more intentional with your workout and with your time. And this one aspect that reflects. Uh, Another is the physical and mental alignment, posture health, your movement improves, overall body awareness, which carries into fitness, health, and performance. I always tell my clients that the body that you want comes from you becoming more self-aware. So it's just not the aesthetics, it's really you learning more about yourself. All right. Uh, Practicing body game, you don't need the need for validation in a world where attention is currency and everybody needs reassurance, and we do something strange for some change, or just to be loved or to be fit in. We lose ourselves in the process. In the process of practicing body game and you're working out, it's you by yourself. It's you versus you. And the more you keep building on that, the less you need outside validation, because you realize you are enough. Because everything that you want is really within you. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Mr. Lucario. He always says that the truth is inside you. And it really is. And once you understand that, you don't need to do anything outside of yourself, really. You know what I mean? You don't have to go to places where you're not wanted. You go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And you enjoy your own company more and more, in a healthy way, of course, because, there's always going to be someone that's going to be like, oh, but what about this? We're talking about in a healthy way, not in that part, okay? Um, For the mental part now, we're going into the mind muscle connection, which equals better gains. So we talked about the better posture that you have, the strength equals more confidence. You have the open chest, the breathing, which I think is a aspect that's not really talked about much when it comes to working out. A lot of people don't breathe. That's why sometimes you see them passing out. You have to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth in a controlled manner, and also um, engage in your core. I tell my clients, I don't care if you're biting your fingernail, engage your core. It's very important that you do that because it helps stabilizes your spine. And a lot of injuries come from that because people do not know how to properly engage their core. All right. You have neutral spine, which gives you more power, rounded feet, palm tree, not oak tree. I like to use that analogy because I feel palm trees are firmly rooted, but they sway. That's how in life, nothing is like this, like an oak tree. The oak tree snaps when it winds. But you want to have the ability, just in life in general, to always sway and always leave room for quote unquote mistakes or error, right? But you still firmly rooted in what you're doing. Talked about breath control because it also equals or carries over to your endurance and your power. Breathing, there's books too on that. I think The Science of Breathing, that's a good book. I'd recommend that if you want to learn how to breathe, like a lot of yogis practice that. If you watch the Incredible Hulk, the one with what's my man Ed Norton, before they did with the other guy, at the end he was learning how to breathe, and I think that's a key aspect in health that's overlooked. So you have to learn how to breathe and control your breathing. With the nasal breathing actually helps with endurance and fat loss. It's saying, and exhale on exertion, which is strength. Control breathing for faster recovery, and strong bodies breathe well. Everything is connected, right? Also, your nervous system regulated, which gives you faster progress. I think that's something that's not spoken about too. With working out, it definitely helps with your nervous system. It kicks in with your fight or flight. That's why if you lift weights that's challenging to you, you also see that you like, God damn, you start breathing heavy. You like, it felt like I'm doing cardio. That's your CNS kicking in, what you really want to do. So I think it also kicks into like more neural pathways, kind of, or more synapses that develops. I think I read in an article where the heavy weight, which is for you with be wise and when you progressive overload, not aggressive overload, it's progressive overload. You want to actually send more brain signals to you. That's why they say strength training actually fights against dementia because it gives more neural pathways to your brain because it's sending a different kind of stimulus. All right, which is very, very important for your development. Right, so it teaches you how to push aggressively, slow down, and recover intentionally. That's another thing too. You have to learn how to recover. That's a lot of people think that the more I do is the faster I'm going to get gains. Now, sometimes less is more, and you have to be intentional and strategic in what you're doing and how you're doing it. All right. You want movement quality, the weight on the bar. It's all about control. There's three phases of the movement. There's the eccentric, concentric, and the isometric. All three are very important in that. And I use that as a metaphor for life. You have to learn how to control both the negative and positive. And sometimes you're going to have to hold on and endure certain things that you're going through just for that time to get stronger, right? That's why bodybuilders on an elite level, they'll pose that isometric. You just think they're vain. It's like looking themselves in the mirror, but they're actually forcing blood into that muscle in that isometric hold or position that they have their muscles in. So you should do it too. And always remember, it's always like that in life. I hate when people, I really have a strong dislike, I should say, when people throw the weight down, even in an uncontrolled manner, because it says something about you. Even if you put the weight down, it's a controlled manner in how you do things. Because, like I said, this is about an expression. So, and I can tell a lot about a person on how they move the weight. If they just going through it, or if they're really coming down, engaging their muscles, their whole body, all that says a lot. So, that's another thing too. Uh, it improves consistency, and it's all about alignment too. You always want to live to get better. Yes, you may not want to be a IFBB pro or the Mr. Olympia. We understand that. But in life, we also try to be better. So stop staying at 5 pounds for the past 5 weeks. Go up, go to 7.5, go up to 10. You know, Picture you as an adult now, still in the first grade, talking about I'm comfortable here. See how silly that looks? It's the same thing when you're in the gym and you're only doing 5 pounds or weight that you know that you can do. You got to challenge yourself, all right? Because we don't want to be average. Also, energy and energy and the aura change. I had clients come to me where they talk about, yo, I felt real sluggish. Now that I start training, they have more energy. Therefore, their performance improve. And not only that, they have more energy. Their aura is improving. They're much more healthy because the daily dose, the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and epinephrine that's being released when working out by practicing body game. So they feel a lot better. And you see shirts that say, the gym is my psych ward, or people talk about it's my sanctuary. This is what it does to you by practicing body game. All right. Not only that, it's an identity. It becomes an identity, a part of your identity, where you start moving differently, acting differently, because now you not only want to eat, you don't even look better. Now you want to eat better. You're more mindful of the foods that you eat, because quality food now sustains your body, your vehicle. That's like, would you put regular in a Bentley or a Bugatti? Not at all. You want the best gas in your car. So why wouldn't you do that for this best vehicle that you have to take you around everywhere you go? Right? Now I want to talk on a aspect that's really not talked on. It's more a little esoteric, is how you can match the masculine and feminine energy or principles in your strength training, right? So, with the masculinity in the body, it's about being grounded with the strength, direction, and containment, right? So, gradual power with the heavy lifts, strong pressure in the ground. Like I always said, whenever you're training, you always want to push your feet to the ground. Always, like I said, be rooted. Everything is from the ground to your crown. Shout out to Beast Mode Chris Jones. That's the saying of his. Everything is from the ground up. The stable core, your neutral spine. This signals that you're solid, right? Ladies, for the fellas, ladies like guys who are their rock, right? Movable. You're not shaken easily. This is what it means in the masculine sense of the training, right? That you could handle the pressure, the broad shoulders, right? Also, stillness and control. I think that's something that is missing. You see people just pushing through their exercises or the movement of the exercise, their movement of the exercise that they're doing. That's something that you don't want to do. It's all about control, right? In between sets, control your breathing. You want to be intentional. You don't want to waste movements. You know what I mean? You got to be like, when you get to a certain level, you really want to become surgical with this shit. Like really, really with it, not too deep, and be deliberate. Just like in life, you want to measure twice, cut once. It's the same thing here. Also, posture. The masculine, open chest, right? Because he's also a receiver, but he's a pause. Also a giver. So open chest, let the presence be known. You roll your chest back, shoulders back, posture, right? Strong, letting you know that I'm there. This is all the masculine expression, right? So the expansive upper body, like I always tell clients, especially like when you're rowing, you want to have that superhero effect or Superman effect where you pulling your chest back. You know what I mean? Or your hands back to get a big chest, right? It's the same thing. So when you walk like that, you take up more room. And they be like, oh, he's going somewhere. He's intentional. That's what that kind of energy or that posture gives off. And that's what you want to have. Pardon me. And it's relaxed too. So it's not nervous. It's calm because you're sure of yourself. And that's what I like about body game too. It gives you the presence that I can handle anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm prepared for anything. All right. And it's not a facade or a mask. It's because you've done the work. You actually did the time. Like I said, you didn't skip the process. You're building yourself up and you're learning more about yourself in the process, right? Because having good posture communicates confidence, right? And it's not about just your size. It's how you carry your weight too. That's what they always say, how you carry yourself. It says a lot, you know? Breathing under the load, we spoke about that. That's also masculine, learning how to control your breathing. That's very important, right? Also give your training identity, right? So it says that masculinity is built through challenge and responsibility. You don't train for aesthetics alone, but you also train to be capable. And as men, we want to be competent, right? That's what it is, and capable and able. All right. So now we go into the feminine expressions. But women, you can do this also too. So it's just not limited to the guys. These are just energies within the training I'm talking about. So when it comes to the feminine expression, it's about fluidity, receptivity, and the expressive strength, right? So we women are graceful. You're like, oh, she's very graceful. It's the same thing, right? With a controlled tempo as you're doing it and you're going through the motions. Like I always tell my clients, you're going through a rhythm. That's one of the laws too, like the law of rhythmicity. It's a rhythm with grace and it's control in it, right? As we're moving through it, right? Whatever we're doing, right? It's a tempo. And especially through the ranges of motion as well. So you want to get the full range. Yes, you can. There's benefit doing shorties or 3/4 or full range. Work all ranges of motion to be strong in every position. I always say that. But for the context, we're just talking about going through the range of motion with the fluidity as the feminine expression, right? Also, too, I think now I'm seeing a lot more, but some guys still kind of feel funny about it, that we're training more of our hips and glutes and spine mobility. I think those are very important. So I'm seeing that now a lot more being more emphasized in training. Whether it's yoga, Pilates, stretching, these things like that are definitely beneficial for your overall health as well. So it's just not the muscles as well, right? Breathing, it's the same thing. Inhale to expand, exhale to flow. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Especially when you're doing squats, I always have, or deadlifts, underwater, above water. Take a deep breath through my nose, hold it, go under, holding my breath. When I go above water, when I get back to my starting position, I exhale through my mouth and I repeat. And I just continue that cycle, right? So the feminine energy moves with breath, not adjust to it, all right? So everything is in alignment. That's very key. Also, you want your posture through length, not tension. Tall spine, release your shoulders, open your hips, right? It's a flow state. Not only that, rhythm and flow, like I just said, right? But before that, it's always about presence without force, you know? So now we go into rhythm and flow. You get your circuits, mobility work, and it's a dance-like transition once you get into that higher echelon of the training, for the most part, you know what I mean? And then, it has an identity as well, because, the femininity is cultivated, pardon me, through connection and intuition, right? You train to feel alive, aligned, and embodied. All right. So that's part of it here. And I'm about to close with that. It's the polarity. That's another thing too, I think, that's missing. We don't understand polarity, like the negative and positive, the yin and the yang, but they're not separate. They're separate, but they are co-independent, if that makes sense. So they harmonize. Once you understand both, you harmonize the two, right? So that's the highest level of fitness that blends both. The masculine is disciplined, structured, and resilient, and the feminine is adaptable in awareness and has flow. So it's like the power and grace, strength and sensibility kind of thing. All right. So I hope that made sense to you guys. So that's my take on the body game. If you're looking for training program or macronutrient coaching, click the link in the description. We'll reach out to you. I hope you found this video useful to help you in your journey of self-discovery through the body game. And once again, shout out to all of you guys who are promoting body game for the betterment for us, because we all know that in this country, the obesity level is over 50%. And that's, as a first world country, I think that's disgusting. That's just bad, so we have to do more health awareness when it comes to that, to fight, the big pharma and all those guys. Not the season, but we have to take ourselves more seriously, because this is only one life we have to live. We have to make the most of it. I know some of you will say, yeah, but we're going to die anyway. But let's not rush it. Let's try to enjoy our lives for our families and for ourselves and make the best of it. But you can only do that if you have a strong body. All right. Alchemy Fitness signing off, where we transfer from lead to gold. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Peace.